Hey guys, welcome back to this edition of Foodie Stops. I am downtown Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm gonna go eat breakfast at the Flying Biscuit Cafe. I'm going with my friend Tim and a new friend, Todd Haberkorn, who is an American voiceover actor, and I'm gonna ask him a few questions about his profession, and we're gonna get something good to eat. Why don't you guys join us? Basketball is a sweet drink. That's what it is. Yeah, it's probably a rare thing to get. So the Flying Biscuit Cafe has been around for 25 years right here in downtown Atlanta. They're currently out of a few things, we've been informed, but they seem to have a pretty extensive menu. Hopefully they have lots of other stuff.
Pancake tacos, man, that's the first.
Biscuit pop. Kim Kardashian quit eating it, so
Still eat it, so why would I?
obviously it's Kim doesn't want it.
I think.
So they are known for their apple cranberry butter on a biscuit. Oh, that's good. Oh wow, that's really good.
I was like, well,
Whoa,
I will when I get hungry.
that's like a
once you watch
flavor
the TV,
explosion right there.
probably be like,
Oh man, I bet they sell that by the jar. You guys sell that by the jar?
we do, but we don't have it at this location.
Of course not. That tastes like fall.
Yeah.
That tastes amazing.
Apples, cranberries,
Yeah.
and it's good.
Wow.
Pancake. Yeah.
I was gonna have a half. Now I'm gonna have the whole.
You have a 12-pack. And I'm just hanging out. Like,
What's an ab?
and absolutely.
I've heard of those. Those things called abs. How did you get into voiceover acting? And did you mean to get into voiceover acting?
I actually didn't mean to get into it at all.
Gotcha.
Because I was an on-camera guy in theater.
Right.
So I was doing that for many years and didn't think voiceover was something that was even a possibility. Because when you think of voiceover, you think of like the movie trailer guy, you think of the smooth commercial voice. And then what I didn't realize is like, oh wait, you know what? Cartoons and video games, those use voices too. Because I just always thought that cartoons, it was like those characters get up, they get their script, they go to work, they go home. And so I just didn't think about that. And so then when the opportunity arose, my agent was like, there's this company in town called, Funimation that does voiceover. You should, just go give it a shot if you're not doing anything next Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And so I go in.
Wear what you want.
Yeah, and they were like, let's stick around and do a couple things.
Right.
And then, flash forward a minute,
Right.
and here we are.
Here you go.
Do you remember the first voice you did?
I do. It was the first video period was a commercial for a computer store, which is terrible. Not the computer store. I'm sure their prices were great. It was my delivery was bad because I said yes to the because if you ask it, basically the theme is if you ask an actor, is there anything that you can't do? The answer is always nope.
Right.
I can do it all.
That's why half the resume is like horseback riding, fencing. You're like,
Yeah. Scuba, deep sea diving.
I looked
It's
up a video of it once.
Yeah, but for me, I try to be very like, that back then I was like, whatever. But now it's like, no, I can't do that.
Right.
I absolutely can't do that. Because so the way I look at it is like, if there are a million things that I'm not good at or can't do, the one or two things I can, let me own the shit out of it.
Right.
Which I think everyone should do. I
Yeah.
think too many times everyone is like, no, I suck at this or I suck at that. It's like, no. You're going to suck at a lot of things. Why don't you tell me the 2 or 3 things that you're amazing at? And let's celebrate those.
Yeah.
So I got into VO and I wanted to continue on camera, but the voiceover world had other plans as I was writing and directing and producing and so it was like, okay, I'll listen to the universe a little bit here. You tell me where to go, and so I stuck with it, and here we are in Atlanta enjoying some pancake tacos.
When in the South, you gotta eat them grits. Man, they kill it, man. I love them. You can't see grits up north. They're just sugary. Because they don't understand what the difference is between a grit and cream of wheat.
Yeah.
So they're just like, well, put some sugar in it. Same thing with cornbread. They call it Johnny cake up there because it's literally like a piece of yellow cake. It's sweet when you get it up north. And here it's cornbread and it complements barbecue and anything.
My aunt eats her grits with cheddar cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And then my other aunt eats them with jam.
Oh, yeah. You can eat them in all different ways. We ate at a restaurant in Charleston, North Carolina, or South Carolina, and it was called Grace and Grit. They had, I think it was 20-some different kinds of grits, and all of them were insane. Amazing flavors. I had no idea you could do all that with grits.
You find that niche.
Yeah.
It's like the scientist that studies, do people respond more to neon signs or
That's
regular?
right.
It's like,
Yep.
He goes, that's my market.
Breakfast tacos. Oh, that's good.
See, and that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It's like, what character of all the ones you've done do you get recognized for the most?
Oh, it's a toss-up because they're typically like 4.
Oh, okay.
That people will recognize. But the one that, so it goes like Natsu from Fairy Tale.
Oh.
Natsu! You can't just bust in and steal the scene with a bunch of fancy talk!
Sure.
Death the Kid from Soul Eater.
Damn, it's awful. Just awful. No matter what I do, I can't get the K right. Take the useless garbage. I'm a horrible, disgusting...
Hikaru from Oran High School Host Club.
Sorry. I'm sorry for running off and leaving you. And for the things I said about your friend Arai. I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Hikaru. I forgive you.
Then Alan Walker from D. Gray Man.
So where's its weak point? Just tell me!
Hit it in the scruff, kid.
In its scruff. Got it. Wait! What the heck, scruff?
Well, that's a shame, isn't it? I guess it's your fate to die, huh?
Ah, you think you're funny, don't you?
And then
That's an oldie.
there's like those 4, and they're like 4 backups, and so
Right.
it's cool to like their shows that like they're discovering all the time. Like they'll be like, this is my gateway show.
Yeah.
And folks that just got into anime, they're like, I just got into it, and that's the show that I started watching. So
Yeah.
I don't know how they're finding it, but continue on.
So if you were going to like give advice to someone that is starting into voiceover acting, like what's the first thing that someone would do? Because I know you kind of fell into it, but if someone wanted to plan on it, like what's a path they could take?
I think the reason that I feel like I was able to fall into it is because I had the fundamentals already under my belt from training, from studying acting and training in it since I was 10. And so it's like I'd already been doing it for so many years. But I think that's the goal, is like getting comfortable with just acting in general. And then you can hone it down to its specifics of just voice, or maybe you in doing so you're like, oh, actually I like stage more, or oh, I like doing this type of acting more, and you find that out when you try it. And so as you're developing the skill like you would any skill, it's just repetition. It's just trying all different forms of acting again and again and again until you can, each time you get a little faster, stronger, tighter with it. And I think from there, it's like naturally paths open up for you.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people, just this last week, someone was like, a friend of mine, because usually it's like I'll get asked from strangers or fans each day about VO, but then friends will come around and be like, hey, pick your brain about it. And so it's the desire is in all forms, and I think that many times when I'm like, well, you should probably start doing this and this and this, that's where you really see the rubber meeting the road.
I'll bet.
Because a lot of times, 95% of the time, no one does anything with that. And so I'm like, and so for me, I'm like, I appreciate the fact that someone wants to try it because it means that we've done the magic trick
To make it look easy.
To make it, so that's cool. But then I'm like, I almost am like, I don't know if good luck to you, because 9 times out of 10 people don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right,
And even if they did the work, you know how many years it's going to take of doing the work to even make a difference.
Because we're going up against every day. It's like people. It's a combination of like, I still audition every single day for shit. I mean, yes, I'm called up and just given roles. I'm recommended for roles, but still, I do a lot of auditioning every day, and that doesn't stop. Even for the people I look up to that have been doing it for 40 years, they're still auditioning for stuff. And so that game never stops. And so I think that when people step back and they're like, man, wouldn't it be great to live in a treehouse in Maui? And you're like, oh, that would be an awesome idea. Then you start doing it, it's like, wait a minute, where's the grocery store? Oh, you grow the food. You grow it. It's like, we grow it? Like when that realization hits, So it's different.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, that's pretty tasty, but the way that was described on the menu, I thought that was going to look better visually. The dish is called the best you ever had.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, well, that's French toast.
Well, see, that needs to be like drizzled and like.
Agreed, yeah, I thought that's why I ordered
Stacked
that.
up on top.
I was like, that
Colors swirling,
But you should have heard the description on it. It was all adjectives. I mean, it was just like, this sounds amazing. So that was a little not as ordered, but I've always been a Star Wars fan, but I've always had a special place in my heart for Trek. How did you get involved with that project with Planes Stop?
Oh, so with that production, it was a lot of fun to work with a ton of folks who really knew that lore really well. Right. And I was a fan of, like yourself, both Trek and Wars. And for me, but I didn't know it like they knew it. But everybody knows Spock. Spock is, And so originally the production wanted me to be a different character. They wanted me to be Sulu.
Really?
And I was like, I'm not, honestly, I was like, listen, I'm not jumping on if it's going to be for Sulu. I want the big dog.
Yeah.
And so I had to audition for it. And so I instead of so typically with the on-camera audition, you're sitting in a chair, you're reading your script, and to someone off camera, and I'm like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna. So they sent scenes from the original series, just scenes that feature Spock, and so I was like, let's shoot it on green screen, and let's get me in full makeup, costume, and let's put me in the scenes that they're from, and let me replace Nimoy. So when Shatner's talking and it cuts to the other scene, if same angle, everything like that, it would be me. And we did all the post work on it to make it look like I'm right in that episode. And so we did that, and then we're off to the races. And so we worked on the show for 6 years. We did 11 episodes, and won some awards. Very kind of folks to recognize us, and then once we were done, it was time to wrap it up. I mean, it was very it was a great experience, but it was very time consuming because each time we would go, it's 10 days out of our journey for the year, and I'm like have to they're like, oh, can you get into the studio on this day and this day? And I'm like, I'm on the Enterprise. I can't. Teleporters aren't working. We're out of that end vegan gravy today, so we can't do that. And so so it was, and that was just the case for everybody. Everybody was having to like put this on hold, turn this down, not do that, and then it just when everybody's like, okay, cool, we accomplished it, we did it, and so because we could have kept going, but it was it wasn't something that it was done, this much love. It was done for this much love and that much, street cred in terms of what our desires were. So when you're doing these projects for love, I mean, you it's hard to walk away from those, but then you're like, well, this person has to work and that person has kids and that person has, and so then eventually they're like, all right, guys, I'm going home. Right. We gotta go home.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but we were very proud of what we did, and everyone that worked on it, from the crew to the cast to the camera crew and the makeup artists, they were all amazing. And so it was a lot of fun to work on.
Awesome.
I don't miss cutting my hair like that.
Right? It wasn't a wig.
I wanted a wig.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I tried for a wig, but I snuck one in. I got the most expensive. We went searching with the makeup artist. We went searching for a suitable wig, and these wigs are hundreds of dollars. And so I got one, and I'm like, all right, let's prep it and let's get it on, and so on a shoot. So one day we were getting ready in makeup, and before the director came in, I put the wig on and we were trying to cut it. That was our mistake. We should have already had it ready. But we started doing it there, and he saw that it was a wig, and I was like, don't say anything yet. Let me just put it on first. But he already had this.
It's preconceived notion.
Yeah, and so it didn't work. So had to cut. The reason I didn't like cutting my hair like that is because there's so much product in it to keep it straight that I would have to wash it 3 times a day. So when you wash hair 3 times a day for 10 days, it becomes...
It's super healthy for
like as thin as this straw paper. Right. And so at the end of it, my hair wanted a divorce, and I'm like, please don't leave.
I know you'll eventually go someday, but please stay.
Yeah. So, that I don't miss that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Do you get Trekkies that come to see you at shows?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. And they because there's people that OGs that were from when it originally aired, but then there are people that are like, I used to watch this with my dad, or I watched this with my my folks.
It's generational.
Yeah, and so it is interesting. Like all over the world, people will ask about that show, and when we were doing the show, we would get letters from people from all over the world, like handwritten letters, like really poignant tales about some stuff where like you wouldn't even believe it. They're talking about how it's like saving their life because they're describing their situation in life, and it's like out of a movie what they're going through, and they're like, I got out of that situation, and so you never know with shows like that, or any show or any video game or any cartoon what it's doing for someone's life. And so I'm just happy to be a part of it, and I try to do my thing and let people interpret it or use it as a talisman for their life, or however they need to utilize it. Because I know for me, I have songs that do that, as we all have little things like that that do that for us. So it's like it's no different. Yeah.
Well, to be on a short list with Leonard Nimoy and Zachary Quinto.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to play Spock is pretty iconic.
It was a lot of fun, and I was about to go hang out with Nimoy.
Yeah.
And there was a meeting set up, like we're gonna have lunch and stuff together at his house, and I canceled it because he was going through his health problems, and I'm like, I don't want to like be a chore.
Right.
Because
something he has to do.
Yeah, and so I said don't do it, because I in my head I thought, oh well, when he gets better, then we'll pick it up again. But but I don't regret it. I didn't want it.
I totally get that.
I'm glad that I didn't push it. Like ding ding ding.
Yeah.
Hey, you ready for our
lunch? You look really pale. You want me to come in? Yeah. What's the most random voiceover piece? It might not even be a character, but the craziest thing you've ever had to do a voice for?
There was a health cartoon teaching kids about different aspects of health and healthy eating, and I was a potato.
Right. Did you play it Irish?
I was those,
You were potatoes.
and I did it in English and Spanish, and sang in English and Spanish.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Was the potato dancing? I assume?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Oh
great.
yeah.
Did it have your haircut?
Were you smiling? Great.
Yeah. So we did that, and I never saw what happened to that cartoon. But yeah, I remember we showed up, we did it in both languages, and then
That's hilarious.
yeah, that was a very strange.
It's $6 a piece for each piece of milk.
Thank you.
How much is that?
Thank you for my seasonal fruit.
With no sugar.
What time of year? I don't know.
Well, that was a delightful breakfast. I would say not the best breakfast we've ever had. Nothing wrong with it, just, it was, I would say the best part of that breakfast was the apple cranberry butter, which makes sense that they bottle it and sell it because, yeah, that was unbelievably good. But it's nice talking to Todd, and we'll see you guys on the next Foodie Stop. Bye now.